Hi boys and girls, shout out to Everett who was making a decent effort last week at catching up on all the videos that he's missed so far, since he didn't really understand how to watch the videos when he first got here. So I think he knows what to do now, and I think he's going to keep working hard, and he's going to be doing better from now on, so thank you for that. All right, let's review for our test tomorrow. Here we go. Okay, so slope-intercept form is when we have an equation, right? Y equals mx plus b. Remember, the y is your dependent variable. Okay, the m is your slope, and that's where the slope goes. The x is the independent variable, and b is the y-intercept, or the starting value. All you need to do is find the slope, find the y-intercept, and put them into your equation. From a table, if we want to find the slope, we do the change in y. So here we're adding or subtracting 5, subtracting 5, subtracting 5, and subtracting 5. So slope, -5 in the numerator, adding 1, adding 1, adding 1, and adding 1 over 1. So our slope is -5. To find the y-intercept, we have to find the value of y where x is equal to 0. We don't see it in the table, so we have to work somehow to find 0. Where would 0 be? 0 is going to be somewhere over here in front of this 1. So if we go backwards, the opposite of adding 1 is going to be subtracting 1. So we subtract 1. 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So we found the 0. We only had to go backwards once. So we have to go backwards once now in the y. And the opposite of subtracting 5 is adding 5. Well, 8 plus 5 is equal to 13. So our y-intercept is 0, 13. When we write the equation now, y equals mx plus b, all you do is you replace the m with our we replace the m with our slope here, which is -5, and then we replace the b with our y-intercept, which was 13. So that's our equation, y equals -5x plus 13. There are still some of you who want to take the -5 and the 1 from the slope and put them into the equation, and that's not correct. Remember how to find slope. You know how to find y-intercept. You just put them in place in our equation. From a graph, okay, find 2 points. Remember, you want to pick points that are on the intersection, like we want a point here. That would not be a good point to use. And then find your rise and your run. This is 2 and this is 1. Don't forget to ask yourself, what would slope dude say? He'd say nice negative. So that means our slope is -2 over 1, which is equal to -2. Y-intercept, think about football. Intercept, like, right, you got to cross over. It's where we cross the y-axis here. So our y-intercept is at 0, 4. So y equals mx plus b. You take the slope, and that goes in place of m. You take the y-intercept, and that goes in place of b. So y equals -2x plus 4. Okay, everyone knows some part of it. It's just putting it all together. Okay, word problems. Mrs. Trombley's broken hot water heater tank holds 55 gallons of water. Water started to leak out of the tank at a rate of 0.25 gallons per minute. Write an equation in slope-intercept form to represent the number of gallons of water left in the tank after a given number of minutes. So see how important it was to do that experiment with the water leaking out of a cup. See, real life application right there. All right, so again, we have to find our slope and our y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. Wherever you see that word per or for each, remember we talked about this before, you know that's the rate. You all know that. You guys actually do really well with the word problems. So here y is the gallons of water, x is the minutes. So number that we're multiplying by the minutes, multiplying by x, 0.25 is our slope. What do we start with? We start with 55 gallons. And it's leaking, so that means our slope is negative. A lot of you like to write y equals 55 minus 0.25x. That would be acceptable also. As long as you have the start, or our constant is 55, and the slope or rate of change is 0.25, and that it is negative. All right, proportional or non-proportional? This graph here is proportional. I think we all know this because it passes through the origin. This one is non-proportional because it does not pass through the origin. We still have a y-intercept here. It's just that b is 0, 0, instead of here where b is 0, say 4 or whatever that is. So proportional still has a y-intercept. It's just that the y-intercept is 0. In a table, you want to find the ratio of y over x to determine if it's proportional. 12 divided by 1 is 12. 22 divided by 2 was 11. 32 divided by 3 is 10 point something. 42 divided by 4 is 10 point something. Okay, this is not the same, so this is non-proportional. If we do y over x here, 12 divided by 1 is 12. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 36 divided by 3 is 12. 48 divided by 4 is 12. So this, yes, this is proportional. What does that mean? It means that you can easily find any x or y value by setting up a proportion. So setting up the proportion, it's the same thing when we see vary directly. Remember, vary directly is just a fancy way of saying proportional. So when y is 12, x is 2. So y over x, this is y, this is x. Find the value of x when y is equal to 42. Make sure you set them up in the same spots. We can cross multiply. So we have 12x is equal to 42 times 2, which is 84. Okay, divide both sides by 12, and that means x is equal to 7. So varies directly is a fancy way of saying proportional. All right, last bit of review, functions. Remember, in a function, x cannot repeat. X cannot repeat. So if we have a table, 1, 2, 3, and then we have 5, 6, 7, that is a function. If we then had 1 and 10, then it would not be a function. That's not allowed. You cannot repeat an x value. Same thing if we had ordered pairs, 0, 1, 4, 2, 6, 1. Okay, remember you can repeat the y can repeat, but when you look at all the x values, all the x's are different, so yes, this is a function. In a graph, we have the vertical line test. So if you draw a vertical line, if we draw vertical lines here, at any point if that vertical line hits more than once, it's not a function. So this is not a function. Okay, and the mapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As long as there's only one line coming from each here, so one line coming from each x, that means 1 goes with 4, 1 goes with 5, 3 goes with 6. So each x goes only once. If we put another line on that here, so 1 goes with 4 and 5, then it's not a function. So x cannot repeat for a function. All right. I really truly believe that you all know what you're doing. Focus. Those of you who have been working hard, it will pay off, I promise you. You know how to find slope. You know how to find the y-intercept. Put it together. Tomorrow before the test, when I ask for questions, I ask you to do that throw-up list. Make sure you do it, please. All right. Have a good night. See ya.